Ms. Richardson claims that her relationship with the defendant was exclusive, and they even tried to have a baby. But after the baby was born, the defendant, Mr. Smith, started to deny the baby, claiming that he was not the father. Mr. Smith, on the other hand, says that he was not in town during the window or conception. The case begins like this.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today. Mr. Smith, while you admit to having a relationship with Ms. Richardson, you say you were not in town during the window of conception and claim to know who the father is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
What? Were they in some kind of fairy tale movie? I am confused. Ms. Richardson says that Mr. Smith told her that he was not sure he was going to live for long at the time, and he wanted his dying wish to be that she have his baby.
Mr. Smith, you wanted to leave a piece of yourself behind. Where did you think you were going? What was happening in your mind?
I wasn't really thinking. Well, she was like,
No.
she have baby fever.
No.
And I was
That's
like,
not at all. I did not have baby fever. I was only 19 years
She was talking to me the
old.
whole time on the bus saying, oh, she got baby fever.
That was actually him.
And I basically was like, well.
Oh, he can't be serious. What does he mean by he doesn't know? Apparently they don't agree on the same story. Mr. Smith tells the judge that they had the baby because Ms. Richardson was having it, and they both agreed that they wanted to have a child together.
Richardson, I can't let you go any further unless I just have a moment with you.
Okay.
Baby, you cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him, and from there on, everything you heard come out his mouth.
Ouch. Man, I love Judge Lauren when she puts on her serious face and gets down to business. She tells Ms. Richardson that Mr. Smith never really wanted to be with her long term, and if you ask me, I'd say that's true because he seems to be very nonchalant about the whole thing.
You tell him you're pregnant. What is his reaction? Now, you say he wanted this baby. What was his reaction?
He was quiet on the phone, and he had asked to see the pregnancy test.
And so, Mr. Smith, when you got this news that she was pregnant, was it the news you wanted to hear? Were you excited about having a baby, or what were you feeling?
I actually was excited.
You were excited?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a high chance that Mr. Smith might have it all wrong in his head. Ms. Richardson says that he was pretty happy when he initially heard about the baby, and he confirmed that. Now he says that he felt she found someone else, and that's why he has doubts.
When she did tell him about it, he was excited about it to a certain extent. At first he didn't.
So he was excited?
Yeah.
And you remember this?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, go ahead.
At first he didn't tell me that he had any doubt about anything. It just, progressed, I guess, with him even more when the pregnancy got further along, and she, her attitude is very, very vicious.
Sitting in his lap, maybe Mr. Smith is not overreacting after all. His twin sister steps up to the podium and tells the judge that she heard voicemails where she would say things that would make Mr. Smith feel like he was not the father of the child.
What this picture is, it's a picture of Kalani, and it's a picture of me when I was 4 months old. And with Bobby, me and him being twins, I feel like she should look like me to a certain extent. And she has the big eye, I'll give her that.
Just like her mother.
But as far as the lip and the things of that nature, I just don't see it.
Her man crush Monday? Okay. There are definitely things that Ms. Richardson has not talked about. Mr. Smith's twin sister says that another reason she does not feel the child belongs to her brother is because the baby doesn't look like her or her brother.
About a fight to make him upset.
This is a still of the video you submitted.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Definitely.
That is her godfather. If he chooses to kiss her on the forehead, that's not the lips, on the forehead.
If you can
she can do
you can
that.
see the video, ma'am, if you can see the video, honestly, your opinion of a godfather, that's not it.
There's no lie in that. The moment you make a man feel like he is not the father of the child, or you tell him that the baby does not belong to him, there's honestly no going back. He is going to think about it till proven otherwise.
Mr. Brock,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for joining us today.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to know, what is your relationship exactly with Ms. Richardson?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would die for Brianna, and I'll take my last breath for that little girl up on the screen right there. And that's my goddaughter. And it's just because I've built that relationship with them that quick. We've told each other things that I have told nobody else.
I mean, they are all literally kids, and they are already having old people problems. Mr. Brock, the pressure godfather, walks into the courtroom and tells the judge that he would do anything for Ms. Richardson and her child. They are about to give Judge Lauren Lauren some serious headaches.
Where you are establishing these intense emotion, feelings, and connections, and yet you don't have the maturity to recognize the complicated familial connections that are now formed, unformed, and affected because of the way you all are conducting yourselves in these relationships.
Well, they definitely pissed her off. Where were their parents when all of this was happening? Whew. Let's get to the results and put an end to this situation of kids having kids, shall we? Who do you think the father of the child is?
The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Ms. Beauville says that 2 years ago, she and her mother were shocked when the man she always believed to be her father told her that he was not her biological father. She tried to bring him to court a few months back, but he refused. Now he is in court and she hopes to find out the truth today. Here's how her case starts.
Ms. Beauville, 2 years ago, you and your mother were shocked when the man you always believed is your dad told you he is not your biological father. You tried to bring the defendant to paternity court 6 months ago, but say he backed out of his appearance. Now that he is here, today you state the DNA results will finally prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He kept a secret for 20 years? 20 good years? Wow. It better be one hell of a secret because 20 years is a very long time. What's surprising is that Ms. Beauville's mother does not even know about the secret. Imagine that.
2 years ago, I received a phone call from another brother of mine stating that my dad had doubts that if he was my father or not due to activities that happened before I was born. That was during Thanksgiving on a holiday weekend. And
Can you
then
be more specific? You say activities. What kind of activities?
he felt like my mom was unfaithful.
Wow. So basically, Mr. Beauville, the supposed father, didn't actually tell her that he felt like she was not his daughter. It was her brother who told her that her father wanted to get a DNA test done to be sure that she was his daughter. That had to be traumatizing at such a young age.
Miss Duval, what in the world are you thinking when your daughter gets this call?
I was in shock. I had no clue that he ever doubted that Carrie was his daughter. Carrie was devastated.
Even her mother couldn't believe it when she heard the news. It came like a shock to her because all her years of being with Mr. Beauville, he never made her feel like she had doubts or felt like he was not her father.
What got you to this point? What led you to this point where you said, I have to talk about this?
Okay, well, when I first met Regina, I lived in Boston. Regina lived in Springfield. And when I relocated from Boston to Springfield, the first 2 weeks I got there, people I didn't even know was telling me, yo, this guy's talking about that's his woman.
Damn. 10 years is a pretty long time for something like that to be going on. Mr. Beauville says that when he went to visit Ms. Duval when they were still together, people would tell him that she had another man who used to come visit, and that was the man she really wanted.
There is no truth to none of this.
What he just said?
Yes, let's start there. Second of all, Mr. Beauville, if you doubted me, if you did not trust me, why did you stay? If you felt like that all those years, you should have left.
This is not going to be an easy case to settle. Mr. Beauville says that Ms. Beauville looks exactly like one of the other man's granddaughters. He claims that they look so identical. What bugs my mind is why he waited for 25 years to come clean about how he actually felt.
Never share them.
The things that went on before Carrie was born, the relationship they had, because her and this person I'm talking about, they did, after everybody was telling me to keep my eyes on and watching them, now I'm watching them too. They used to disappear all the time. Oh, he's my wish partner, he was my best friend before you came.
Well, she is pissed, and she's not hiding it. Ms. Duval tells the judge that she won't sit and allow Mr. Beauville to tarnish her family's image because of scenarios he has built in his head. She even says that it's a normal thing for members of her family to look alike.
One else during that time.
No, ma'am.
Where there could be another potential father for this beautiful young woman.
No, ma'am.
At the end of the day, in paternity court, that's the question we have to answer. Now, what is interesting is in the court papers, I found her birth certificate. Now, on her birth certificate, there is no father listed.
It's very weird that he actually didn't sign any of his children's birth certificates. What kind of father does that? Or does he want to say that he doubts he is the father of all his other children? Ms. Duval even says that she told him time after time to sign the certificates, but never did so.
Being Carrie's father.
Yes, he did. When I moved to South Carolina, he gonna say, that's my baby. That's my baby. See what I'm saying?
About Carrie.
Yeah, see, I would say, you know how, yeah, about Carrie. That's my baby. That's my
That
baby.
is a lie straight from hell.
I feel if anybody asks her that question again, she might actually hit them in the face. Ms. Duval tells the judge that she never slept with any other person aside from Mr. Bovell. Mr. Bovell says the other guy who might be the father told him that Ms. Bovell was his baby.
Because
How
you
can
know
you
why?
say that in
Because-
court? You have never been over.
Because
You have never been a father. Stop lying like you
the pictures that I
have.
gave you.
You
the
have
pictures-
never.
Don't talk over
You
her,
have
Mr. Bovell.
never.
All right.
You came to graduation. You ain't come to mine.
I feel it's too late for him to apologize. Ms. Bovell says that he has never been a father to her, and she has never felt his presence in her life. The fact that he has been absent has made both she and her brother suffer very much.
He was in jail, so that was the only thing I got to see
You know
him.
what?
I went a couple of years ago. My aunt that lives in Massachusetts brought me there for Christmas, and I went and stayed with my sister, and I went and visited him. And I spent the day with him.
Looks like Ms. Bovell is the only adult who's speaking sense. Yeah, aside from Judge Lauren, of course. One thing we know for sure is that she is hurt by the whole situation. Let's see if the results are going to clear some of that pain.
Mr. Bovell, you are the father.
Mr. Hunter is in court today because he says that there is no way he fathered the defendant's son. He says that the defendant is only saying that he did it because of the financial security that he provides. Could he be lying? Let's find out. Here's how their case begins in court.
Mr. Hunter, you opened your case in paternity court because you say there is no way you fathered the defendant's son, Josiah. You worry she's only saying you did because of the financial security you provide for her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
If that's the case, why then is he starting to doubt that he is the father? Mr. Hunter explains to the judge that everything a father should do for a child and the mother he does perfectly. I wonder how they got themselves in this situation.
So take me back to this how this relationship started. Where did you meet?
Well, we lived on the same street. I met him when I was 15. We both was in a relationship, then we both became single. I invited him over to my birthday party, and he offered to pay for the booth at the party and offered to buy the cake.
I mean, that's actually very refreshing. It's rare that you see a man be good to a lady just because he wants to be good to her. Mr. Hunter and Ms. Holden were initially single. They met at a party, he bought drinks, and things pretty much kicked off from there.
Dating? How did this happen?
The night of the party, we both was intoxicated.
Oh,
I invited him over, and he came over,
Yeah, but that
and
night,
one thing led to another.
That night we didn't sleep.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Well, that's interesting. That's the second thing they are going to be disagreeing on. The first one was that Mr. Hunter said that they did not have sex on the first night, while Ms. Holden says that they did. Now, Ms. Holden says that they didn't use protection, while Mr. Hunter says that they did.
Were you using protection with that friend?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so when you find out you're pregnant, you got one friend that you dating that Mr. Hunter is aware of, and now you've also made this friend, Mr. Hunter, into a sexual partner. When you get pregnant, who do you tell?
Mr. Hunter.
Oh, wow. Looks like he wasn't happy about the baby initially. Mr. Hunter says that their relationship was never committed because he knew she was sleeping with someone else. Ms. Holden also says that when she told him that she was pregnant, his reply was that she broke his heart because he didn't want any more kids.
And I told him that I do apologize.
You told me it could be.
Well,
It could.
Well, I told him he could be the father.
Right. I could be.
Oh, could. In this courtroom, could is an action word because that means there could possibly be another father.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
At least he is being honest about how he felt. Mr. Hunter explains that when Ms. Holden told him that he could be the father, he felt some type of way because he has been in similar situations with other women, and it just felt like deja vu.
Ms. Holden, did you know Mr. Hunter had doubts all this time?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Did you invite him to the hospital for the birth?
No, ma'am.
You didn't?
No, ma'am.
This is confusing. Now, you paying for everything, but you don't want to get attached because of your previous paternity situation.
Right.
I can't be the only one who thinks that's very weird. Even the judge can't seem to hide how surprised she is. I mean, he paid for everything. He dropped her off at the hospital. He loves the child like his own, and for some reason he didn't want to be there when the baby was born. Something ain't right.
This is Josiah's birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, is that your last name under?
No, ma'am.
Whose last name is that, Ms. Holden?
The other guy.
The other guy.
So wait a minute. Mr. Hunter dropped you off at the hospital. You gave birth to the baby and named the baby after another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that evidence evidence had better add up. Ms. Holden says that she put another man's name on her child's birth certificate because she had 2 different dates from the doctor, and she has evidence to back that up. Well, let's see what the evidence is.
I explained to you.
Yes, please explain to me, Miss Holden. You brought a calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Step up to the calendar, please.
In November the 15th, this is when I slept with Mr. Hunter. I went to the doctor. My first due date they gave me was August 2nd.
Okay.
And then I went back to the doctor and they gave me August 9th, and I slept with the other man on the 18th.
Well, the evidence does add up. She explains that her due dates changed, and what makes it tricky is that the period difference between when she slept with Mr. Hunter and the other guy is just 3 days. Now I get it.
Heard her explain that story. Did you feel more convinced that Josiah was yours?
No, Your Honor.
You didn't?
I feel like it's more of a financial than anything because you got the dates they're all mixed up.
Right. I mean, and truth be told, I've done this long enough to know, even with Josiah coming 3 weeks early, if you sleep with 2 different men 3 days apart, unprotected.
There's no lie there. The only thing that can make a man emotional in paternity court is if he has built a lovely bond with the child in question. Oh well, the results are in. Let's see if Mr. Hunter's money has not been going to waste.
Mr. Hunter, you are not the father. So very sorry.
Sorry.
Ms. Toure is in court to prove to her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, that he is the biological father of her grown son, Trevon Lacey. She says that Mr. Lacey has been absent from the boy's life, and she wants him to be present regardless of the fact that he is grown. The case starts off like this.
Ms. Toure, you are in court to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Lacey, that he is the biological father of your adult son, Trevon Lacey. You state that the defendant has been an absentee father full of excuses, and you want it all to end today in court with the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where clearly there has to be proof. Mr. Lacey says that he has always known that he was not the father to her son. The judge then proceeds to ask him if he signed the birth certificate, and he says that he didn't. As you would expect, Ms. Toure counters that by saying that he did sign the birth certificate.
Your Honor, I could not have signed the birth certificate. I was not, I was incarcerated at the time Trayvon was born.
You. So this birth certificate, child's name, Trevon Lacey's father's name, Larry Lacey, but it's typed in.
Mm-hmm.
Was he present at the birth?
He was not present, no.
You basically just gave them his name.
I gave him his name.
And they typed it in?
Yes.
Technically, that is not the same thing as him being present to sign the birth certificate. If we're being honest, Mr. Lacey says that he was incarcerated at the time and he wasn't around to sign the birth certificate, and the evidence clearly shows that.
Mr. Lacey, when did you find out that she claimed you were Trayvon's biological father?
I say Trayvon probably was about between 3 and 6 months years old. I received court paper to go to the state of Ohio child support court, and me and Miss Toure, we did both appear at the child support court. When I walked into the court, the judge, he looked at me, he said, "That's your son."
Whew. You can see that Ms. Toure is ready to fight Mr. Lacey on all levels. She tells the judge that Mr. Lacey was given the opportunity to get a DNA test done to determine if he was the father of the child. He refused and signed the court papers indicating that he was the father.
But Your Honor, I want to put this to bed. I'm tired of reliving this. You know, okay, I made a mistake. It wasn't even a mistake. I was just living on my own. He just keep throwing this man in my face over and making my son feel bad. I'm ready to put it to bed. That's what I want to do and get on with our life.
Right.
Your Honor, my intentions is not to make Trayvon feel bad, nor is my intentions to make Miss Toure feel bad.
That is very true. One thing I like is the fact that both parties recognize the fact that there's a paternity issue that needs to be resolved. The big question is how they found themselves in this mess to begin with.
It's that you owe $37,200 and some odd dollars in child support, which you have
knocked it down to $5,000.
You've got about $5,800. It's past due. You paid all of that. So throughout these years, you've paid.
I've been paying off and on. You know, sometimes during them years I was unemployed. As soon as I find employment again.
That's very unfair. Mr. Lacey explains that he has been paying child support, and the judge commends him for that. But he also says that Ms. Lacey went and told the other guy about her son, and he said that he wasn't the father. She just took the news like that and didn't bother to properly ascertain if that was true.
Okay, I met Miss Toure. I was on the city bus, and she was on the city bus, and she had her oldest son to walk up to me and give me a piece of paper with a phone number on it, okay? So when I looked at the phone number, I wondered who is this? So I turn around and I'm watching where the child goes. The child went back and he sat next to.
If ladies of this modern age acted that way, I'm pretty sure there won't be a lot of men out there. Ms. Toure says that the first time she saw Mr. Lacey, she liked him, and she sent her eldest son to give him a piece of paper that had her phone number on it.
He decided to move in with me.
Well, at this time, my first time I had sex with Mr. Lacey, he got me pregnant, but I didn't know it at the time. So Mr. Lacey, talking about he left and went out of town, he just disappeared, Your Honor. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but later on down the road, as time revealed, he was living a double life. It was another woman in the neighborhood.
Everything sounds so confusing. It's so hard to even understand what Ms. Toure is trying to explain. She initially said that Mr. Lacey moved in with her. She changes the story and now says that he had sex with her and just disappeared. I mean, which is it?
When I came back into town, I knock on the door, and the door open. Well, I see my pajamas. My pajamas. Miss Toure has on the pajama top.
That is not true to me.
The gentleman has on the pajama bottom.
Your pajamas.
My pajamas. I didn't argue, I didn't fuss, I didn't create no drama, I didn't fight, I didn't do anything. I turned around, I told my cousin, I said, come on, let's go.
Phew, they sound like two ladies who just want to argue all day. I'm pretty sure Judge Lauren is tired of their drama. Oh well, Mr. Lacey says that when he got back from his trip, he paid Ms. Toure a visit and he saw another guy shirtless with his pajamas on.
I had my clothes on.
No, you did
Okay,
not.
so pajamas or no pajamas, were you intimate with this guy? You said it's your new friend.
I was intimate, yes. But I just moved in town. I got my new apartment. I was feeling all grown in my apartment, doing grown stuff in my grown.
How soon after he walks in on you in pajama and did you find out you were pregnant?
She seems to be very certain that the child actually belongs to Mr. Lacey. She does admit to sleeping with the other guy, but she says that she knows Mr. Lacey is her son's father. Mr. Lacey doesn't believe he is because he was only intimate with her for a month.
Do you have something you'd like to say to the court?
Yes, I want to start off by saying my mom, she was, an excellent mother. She raised 3 boys by herself, all at different ages. So I want to give her, kudos for that. I believe I done turned out okay. I also want to go on to say that, Larry's absence in my life definitely affected me in a negative way. Growing up, it was tough.
That sounds horrible. Judge Lauren finally gets Trevin to talk, and he starts off by appreciating his mom and always being there for him. He also explains that not having a father made him go in the wrong direction, and that made him start having sex at a young age.
I want to let you know that, and I'm just ready to get these results so we can move forward in our lives.
When you hear that, Mr. Lacey, how do you feel?
It makes me feel good, and it also makes me feel a little sad, because during the time that I wanted to be in Trayvon's life, Khadijah didn't want me around. I never had hatred toward Khadijah for what she done.
And there they go again with the arguing. It's a miracle that these two were able to be in the same room and make a baby. Mr. Lacey says that Ms. Toure didn't allow him to be as close as he wanted to be with her son. I think we've seen enough. Let's get down to the results.
Mr. Lacey, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I told you.
Mrs. Smith says that she has been waiting all her life to hear the truth. She claims that she is tired of the defendant's back and forth as it pertains to paternity. She has opened her case today to prove that the defendant, Mr. Lewis, is her biological father. Mr. Lewis claims that years of doubt have caused him to question paternity. Their case begins like this.
Miss Smith, you say you've been waiting your entire life for the truth and opened your case to prove that Mr. Lewis is your biological father. You claim you are tired of his back and forth as it pertains to paternity and hope today's results will prove what you already know. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't sign her birth certificate? Wow. His doubts must be really intense for him not to sign her birth certificate. But how is it that she got to believe he was her father all this while, only for her to find herself in paternity court to prove that?
When you hear Ms. Smith speak like this, what's your response?
Your Honor, first of all, her mom, me and her, we got to dating. Wasn't no relationship going on. It was just a hit and quit thing. That's all it was.
But there's a whole bunch of people here in this world from a hit it and quick, because you can make a baby right quick.
Right quick, that's true.
Mr. Lewis seems to be very certain that she is not his daughter. He tells the judge that he had a hit and quit thing with her mother and they never actually got into a relationship. But we can't deny the fact that when he says that Mrs. Smith is not his daughter, it breaks his heart.
Oh, I got a baby. I'm a real man. I go and see my ex-wife right there. Me and her, we was together. We went up there to see what was going on. When we went up there, I remember good as day, when we went up there, there was a conflict going on between Liz and her mother, okay? So, at that time, Brittany she's about 3 days old, 3 or 4 days old.
Honestly, that's really commendable. Shows that Mr. Lewis is actually a good man. He explains to the judge that he took Ms. Smith to his house because he did not want her to get into the system, because her mother dealt with the system at the time.
The neighborhood, bro.
Hold on.
Excuse me.
Let's be respectful.
Okay, excuse me.
And I just don't understand for him to sit here today or stand here today and take a child that you don't think that's yours. Why would you even do that?
I had Brittany, like I say, she was 4 days old until Brittany got about 10, 11, off and on because her mother would come get her.
Man, that's crazy. After taking her into his home, Mr. Lewis took care of Ms. Smith from when she was about 4 days old to when she was 11 years old. That's 10 years of him being her father. Now you can understand Ms. Smith's pain when she hears him say that he is not her father.
Him trying to be a fake father to me my whole life.
Fake father.
Why do you say a fake father? Explain. I see the
Because one
pain.
minute he was there and the next minute he wasn't, like he was a ghost. I just don't understand how you can take somebody and treat them like they're your daughter sometimes and then the rest of the time they're not.
Because your mother should have
And
came
he always
forward.
stood me up.
I don't even know what to believe at this point. Mrs. Smith says that she remembers Mr. Lewis being a fake dad to her, and he was never really present in her life. Even when she tried to get a DNA test to find the truth, Mr. Lewis refused to follow through.
And Your Honor, you tell me.
You
look at her and you tell me.
This is a photo of a man?
Yes. That's the man that's the man. Yeah, tell me about it, Your Honor. Yeah, tell
You
me.
believe this is her biological father?
That is her father. You know why I say that? Because that's for the simple fact, because I caught him and her mom having sex.
His great-great-uncle? Oh my goodness. That's one heavy truth bomb. Mr. Lewis submits his evidence to the court, and it's a picture of a man who he claims is Ms. Smith's face. He believes that the man in the picture is her father because he caught the man and Ms. Smith's mother having sex.
Family house. The door was cracked. It was open. I walk in. The bed is sitting right there, right in front of the door. Small apartment. Smacking. They getting it. Next thing I know, he hear the door open. He turn around and look and see me. She raised her head up. All I did was look and shook my head and walked out.
That's actually insane. Imagine walking in on your uncle having sex with the woman he's supposed to have a relationship with. Wow. My jaws would honestly drop if I walked into something that insane for real.
You agree with Ms. Smith's testimony that you were inconsistent raising her. She said sometimes you were there, sometimes you ghost.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is that? Was
Yeah.
it because of the doubt?
It was because of the doubt, and plus I was in and out of town. I stayed in Cleveland. I got family in Georgia, moved down here to Georgia, so yes, I was gone.
Nothing is changing his mind from the fact that he still believes the man in the picture is her father. Mr. Lewis doesn't deny the fact that he was in and out of Ms. Smith's life, though. He says that he had doubts, and he also was doing a lot of traveling.
To ask you, what do you know about this case?
He had brought me his daughter. He told me he had a daughter. And I seen Brittany for the first time, and I said, wow, she looks just like you.
And just to be clear, you are Mr. Lewis's ex-wife.
Yes, I am. And I start, consuming that what he said, this was his daughter. So I took care of her for a long time.
Mr. Lewis is on the hot seat now. His ex-wife, who happens to be one of Mrs. Smith's witnesses, says that when he brought Ms. Smith home as a baby, he told her that she was his child and she took care of her for quite some time before she split with Mr. Lewis.
Ms. Lewis, thank you for joining us. What's your relationship to Ms. Smith?
She is my sister. And the reason why I say that is because, my dad, he good at that. As in, he had a paternity test.
For the record, I just want to be clear. You are Mr. Lewis's daughter.
Oh, yes. That's my baby.
And Ms. Moore is your mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Wow. Even his own daughter says that Mrs. Smith is her sister, and she has always believed that in her heart. Oh well. Let's get to the results and put this to bed once and for all.
Mr. Lewis, you are not the father.
Oh, man. God. That's her father right there.